Welcome back to the Winner's Circle, everybody. I am here with Jim from ACM Research. Excuse me. They are another big innovation award winner. And this time it's really personal to me with semiconductor manufacturing. I was in the business, and Jim's going to tell us all about it and the hopeful boom that's coming back to America. So Jim, welcome to the Winner's Circle and congratulations on the award.
Thanks, Russ. Appreciate it.
So for those of us that aren't knowledgeable about ACM Research, tell us a little bit about what you guys do and kind of where you fit in that semiconductor ecosystem.
Will do. So Russ, we're a U.S. based company started by our founder and current CEO, David Wong, in 1998 in Fremont, California. So we began building semiconductor manufacturing equipment. We had some initial success here in the U.S., but then David saw an opportunity to move to Asia, and he invested money in Asia, both in Shanghai and in Korea. And we have manufacturing and R&D operations over there now. We are rapidly growing. We've basically grown at a 50% year-over-year clip for the past 6-7 years. So again, very actively working to grow our business. That's both in Asia and in the rest of the world. So again, my name is Jim Straus. I'm the head of sales and service for North America, Europe, and Southeast Asia. The bulk of our revenue right now is still being created in China and Korea. So the opportunity for us to grow because of our technology and because of our leadership in the technology area, specifically in wet clean and electroplating, is really providing space for us in North America and Europe to grow, as well as again Southeast Asia. So we're looking forward to a lot of growth. We're actually investing here in. I live in the Portland area in Oregon. We're investing here to build a manufacturing facility and an R&D facility that it will have demo capability, so our customers have ready access to our technology here in North America.
And you guys are not building the chips; you're building the systems and the tools and the dies and the processes to make those chips. And I think you've done a lot of work at improving those processes and to such an extent that you can yield, more chips and more wafers and more production out of the normal facility. If I've read all the information right.
You're exactly right. Again, our systems that we sell are millions of dollars. They're very complex. They take mechanical, electrical, software, process and integrate all those things and deliver a result on the wafer, right? And the results on the wafer for us, the main product has been single wafer wet clean. And a single wafer wet clean is a process that can basically be used between all of the steps in making a semiconductor. So if there's 500 steps, separate steps, there might be 500 wet clean steps in there as well. So it's a huge opportunity for our company to provide cutting edge technology in that space.
Yeah, and it's such a great time. We have the promise of the U.S. economy supporting jobs back in the United States for semiconductor manufacturing, and that's seems to be starting, and we're hopeful for that. But just in a bigger sense, the AI boom is really driving demand for these chips, and we all look at NVIDIAs of the world and the Taiwan Semiconductors of the world, but there are lots of chip makers, not a lot in the United States, but there's a lot of chip makers out there who are doing very specialized chips. There's chips in your toothbrush, right?
Yeah.
All the way through to your cars and computers
Amazing, isn't it?
and servers. And so I mean, I would I couldn't even imagine how many chips are in a modern car. There's gotta be 30 or 40 probably or more,
I
every
think hundreds would be a better description, yes.
yeah, I mean, every sensor, every door panel, everything's got a chip in it, and then you get into, kind of specialty chips that just drive the air conditioning or something.
Yeah.
Um, so there's just this huge boom now too with AI of shortages of the big chips, um, and it's having a massive effect, globally on everything, right? Chip supply, memory supply. How is that affecting, your
So
customers, and how are you
so
dealing with that?
one of the big opportunities, that we're pursuing and, actually having a tremendous amount of success in is in the, wafer level packaging area. So, packaging used to be a low technology type activity, but nowadays it's really an enabler of technology. Kind of, we're pushing the edge of Moore's laws and just creating more and more transistors. Now we're integrating chips in the packaging area and giving really capability that we'd never had before. Um, Again, that's done right now on 300 millimeter wafers, but in the future, we will move to um, panel level packaging, which will be done both on uh, 300 by 300 square um, substrates, and then even larger 500 millimeter or 600 millimeter square substrates. And that will give a tremendous economic advantage to the manufacturers who choose that path. Um, and a lot of our innovation has been in that space.
Well, yeah, talk us through that panel level change because what does that mean for a typical, customer of yours looking at your equipment? What are they evolving to?
So when they move to panel level packaging, it creates a significant um, amount of real estate that you can use on that panel to create chips. And the fact that it's not round, that it's square, gives it a significant advantage. You're using all of that space to create the packages essentially, and the packages consist of all different types of memory, logic, types of chips integrated into one package. So what does that mean for our customers? It means, again, if you go to this panel level with this additional real estate, you're going to save 30 to 50% in cost because you're utilizing all of that space, much less waste.
Now, chip manufacturers they care about costs. But the ones I've talked to, and especially the ones, that I've dealt with in a few of our awards programs, actually appreciate the cost benefit of that. There's a speed element to it too, that you're not dealing with waste, but it's also the sustainability aspect of it is you're using 50% less product going into the ground of whatever you're
You
using.
know, everything that we work on, everything that we do really has sustainability in mind. That's part of our corporate philosophy. And I think we do a very good job of reducing the amount of chemicals that are used, you know, trying to reduce the amount of waste, um, trying to reuse as much as possible. Just overall, working on sustainability as part of what we can deliver for our customers.
Yeah, and I know the downstream customers appreciate it too. Um, I know a lot of the people using those chips, some of those big giant companies we were talking about before, um, they're the guys that actually have mandates to, drive down waste, drive down, you know,
Absolutely.
all
Yeah.
of that. And so a lot of that is being pushed by the customer too, which is fantastic. I'm thrilled that a lot of these boards are doing that. What is your ideal customer? What are your customers kind of look like? You're in that a little bit different space than the Nvidia space.
Yeah. So, our customers, we focus a lot on the larger uh, chip makers, but there's also smaller chip makers who are doing some cutting edge things that really need our support. Um, we like to work with larger customers because the volume obviously is something for us to take advantage of. But some of the smaller customers, they have some very specific needs that we can customize our products to meet that probably some of our competitors might not want to do. So
Right. And you guys have had a lot of advancements in that area. I think you've got some new patents around, kind of this panel level technology. Walk us through some of that new technology that's going into that new for those chip makers.
yeah, so we've introduced one of the big introductions has been four panel level packaging is a an ECP tool. Now, in the past, electroplating for panels has all been done vertically. We actually introduced a tool that provides the horizontal surface to do the electroplating on, and it's really the first of a kind in the industry. And what that does is it gives the opportunity to improve uniformity by a significant amount, say from maybe 15% to 5% non-uniformity, which is a significant improvement and really helps with the potential for higher yields on the panels.
Well, that's what all of this, all of your work seems to be driving at that yield of getting every square millimeter out of that panel. Um, when your customers first kind of use your technology to build out, are you getting that feedback from them on measurability? Are they coming back and telling you, you know,
So
Jim, you did
specifically
it?
specifically with our single wafer wet clean, we integrate the chemistry and the energy and the mechanical capability to be able to really improve the customer's yield. And yes, really, that's how we made our footprint was providing yield improvements, and they could actually measure the yield improvement at the end of the line using our tool versus using our competitors' tools. So,
Well, in this day and age, I think especially, I've talked with some other folks in the space that with the AI models going the way they are, I imagine these chips, the development cycle on these chips is radically accelerating. A, because of, your maybe ability to use AI to accelerate that, but also just in terms of the AI companies needing, slightly tweaked chips every seemingly moment.
yeah. So you're right. The product development cycle is very fast, and the needs for um, developing the um, number of steps has gone to a point where it's just a really complex process, but they are able to use a lot of um, advanced tools to help them develop, their products. And again, that just means things have to happen much more quickly. So
Yeah, and speed to market, for these guys now is everything.
it
Um,
is.
you know, you're watching these hundreds of billions of dollars now flow through these companies because of the latest LLM or chip or whatever. Now, you
Yeah.
talked about a little bit about expansion. You guys have, I think, doubled your footprint in America, and your workforce is growing. Um, how would you envision expanding the business going forward with kind of this AI boom and this hopeful economics on the U.S. home front of being able to invest a little bit more in the U.S. workforce?
Yeah. So again, we are investing here in the Portland area. We've already purchased the building. We're installing or revamping the clean room that already existed in the building, um, creating manufacturing space. Uh, We are an American company, again, with a significant presence in Asia, but we want to bring a lot of that manufacturing and R&D capability to our home turf, I guess is what I'll say. And we think the real opportunity here is for us to be close to the customer and provide the service and technical capability that we have developed outside of the U.S. So
Yeah, it's amazing to me how kind of real time semiconductors are. I mean, you're you're we talked about the development life cycles. Those development life cycles on the product side of the house are actually typically 2 to 3 years long because you're betting on technology being there in 2 or 3 years. And it's very interesting when you can do that. You're kind of praying and hoping that Jim delivers on his new, panel level
exactly.
wafer.
E-
But you really are betting, and you're betting on all those bets, and I love it because thank God we have engineers who are managing all this because it does pay off more often than not. We don't get the delays of, the massive delays of the next chip or the next this or that because people are delivering on that innovation like you guys are, where it's that little piece of the process that makes the next step possible, and so it's really interesting time to be in that business, I would
Yeah,
imagine.
I think you really have to work closely with your customers and align roadmaps with what the customer's needs are going to be and what you're going to create to meet those needs. So again, it's all about teamwork and working with customers to develop products that they're going to need down the road.
Yeah, it is co-creation for sure, especially in this business. You have to have those capabilities, right? It's there's nobody doing it all anymore.
Exactly.
As you look ahead in the next 12 months, what challenges do you think the fabs will have other than maybe growing and energy? There's got to be some technology changes that have to happen.
Yeah. I do believe that this transition to panel level packaging is going to be a significant challenge. You know, I worked for Applied Materials for a long time before I came to work for ACM Research, and we went through this whole okay, we're going to transition from 300 millimeter wafers to 450 millimeter wafers, and it never actually happened um, because there were so many challenges, and I think not just technology challenges, but um, could you make the economics work? I'm much more hopeful that the panel level packaging is going to be both a boon for technology as well as the economic approach that it brings. So
It certainly sounds like it. Just the reduction in materials alone seems like it's a semiconductors manufacturer's dream of being able to shorten cycles like that and shorten the waste and everything else. If you had to talk to, if you could blast your message to every semiconductor exec listening out there right now, what's one tool or way they need to rethink their process, beyond the panel stuff that could really, you know, give them an advantage?
uh, again, so I think our technology uses energy to support the cleaning of the wafers. And our technology development has given us a capability to do that in a way where we can use that energy without destroying the structure of the wafer. And it's interesting, I think, for especially the advanced semiconductor manufacturers to be able to look at some of this technology and understand that you have to be able to clean those really minute spaces, and you have to be able to do it without collapsing the structure. I think that's the main advantage that our equipment has.
Super interesting. I can't wait to see you guys have quadruple sales. I know you will appreciate that, but I really can't wait to see the investment really start pouring into the U.S. economy and watching those semiconductors come. No offense to Asia and other parts of America, but or other parts of the world, but I definitely would love to see some of that come back here. I do think it's of strategic importance to us. So I really appreciate the conversation, Jim. It's been really interesting learning about this and learning more about it.
Thanks, Russ.
And yeah,
Appreciate your time. Appreciate your conversation.
yeah, and congratulations on the win.
Thank you.